Okay.
Hi guys, welcome back to Cupcakes and Protein Shakes. I'm your host Savannah, and we're doing another episode of Bikini Girl Chit Chat. So I have a fellow bikini girl. So welcome to the show. Introduce your name, your age, and tell us where you're from.
My name is Ashley. I am 30. I am originally from San Diego, California, but I live in Tennessee now.
Okay, welcome to the show. Well, we're going to talk about you and your fitness journey. So when did this fitness journey start for you?
So my fitness journey started back in, let's say, like 2018 after I gave birth to my first son. Prior to actually being pregnant, I was like 250 pounds. So I wasn't working out. I wasn't doing anything besides sitting on the couch and, binge eating all day. And then I got pregnant with my son, and I realized that my life needed to change drastically because it wasn't about me anymore. It was about taking care of my baby. So I walked 2 miles on my lunch every single day. I actually lost weight during my pregnancy. So I went into 250 pounds. And when I went into my 6-week checkup postpartum, I was 170.
Wow.
Yeah, so lost a lot of weight. I was just walking for a while. Obviously, after postpartum, couldn't really do much. And then I started doing at-home workouts. You guys can laugh at me, but I did the whole beach body thing. I couldn't really go. I couldn't take a baby to a gym. I was scared and I didn't want to do all that stuff. So I did beach body for a while. And then we we moved from California to Arizona, and I was still working out from home. And then I got pregnant with my second baby, and then um, still continued to work out through her pregnancy. And then I had her still working out at home, and then we moved to Tennessee. Big, big, big move in our life. So we moved out here, and I was still working out at home. And then once she got to about probably like a year and a half, I was like, I need to get out of the house because I stay at home with my two kids, and my brain was going crazy. So I'm like, I need to find a gym with a daycare. And then I found a gym here where we are in Tennessee, and they had a daycare. And then I started weightlifting. I hung out in like the women's area, wouldn't like come out of the area because I was like terrified. And then just kind of moved on from there. And what's funny is I've always followed like the bikini, like from like kind of basically when it started. So like 2008, 2010, right around that area. And I've had girls from high school do it. So I've kind of like always followed it. And at one point, I thought about doing it, but when I wanted to do it, it was for the wrong reasons. It was more of like, I just want that body to be in that body. And I couldn't stick with the diet. I did have a coach, but I wasn't in it. I was a child. I didn't have the discipline. There was no way. But I've always followed it no matter what. And then when we did move to Arizona, I thought about doing it, and then pandemic and all that craziness, getting pregnant again and all that fun stuff kind of took it away. And I kind of gave up on it, honestly. I was like, it's not meant for me. It's not in the cards for me. When we moved to Tennessee and I joined this gym, walked into this gym, and all the walls are filled with IFBB pro competitors. They had like all their pictures alongside the wall. And I was like, if this isn't fate telling me that I need to do this, I don't know what is. And so the owner of the gym introduced me to a coach that is there in that gym, and he started training me, and I competed in my first show last year, so July of 2022.
Okay, and so have you done only one show so far?
I've done 2 shows. I did
Okay.
one in July, and then I did one in this past October.
Okay, so wow, geez. Okay, like where do we want to take this journey? Okay, let's start from the beginning and mindset shifts. So we went from our fitness journey started as like a health reason to take care of you and your son during pregnancy, which I feel like it's a little common, but it's a little unusual too, as well. It's like normally it's like, I'll just wait until after, but you decided, no, now is the time. Let's take care of us together. I'm going to be a mom. I have to, be an example for my children. And we ended up losing weight in this pregnancy, which I think is like, that is very hard. Like, I can't imagine. That's a lot of self-control. That's a lot of discipline. So when you were doing this, we were just walking, no weight training, nothing.
No, I wasn't doing, nope, just walking.
Just walking. Wow. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
that goes to show, if you're listening to this, that simply adding a little activity can make a significant difference. Just walking, changing your steps. That was the only thing that you changed, and you still were able to lose a significant amount of weight. Like, what was that? 60 pounds?
Something like that. Yeah.
Okay. So when that was happening, like, and you were seeing the success, and then after postpartum, before you got pregnant with your second baby, how long was that period?
So, between like what's this age gap between them?
Yeah.
They're almost 2 years apart, but before I got pregnant with my second one, he was about a year and a half.
Okay. So you had some time to kind of, get back to or at least kind of start weight training during that time.
I mean, to what I had at home, but yeah.
Beachbody's hard. It's like hit cardio, jumping jacks and like isn't it like full body circuits?
Exactly. Yeah. I loved it. It was, I'm not a big fan of it now being in where I am right now, but at that time and where it took me, I am very grateful and very blessed because that is the best I ever looked like in my life. Even when, I did do some sports like in high school, but even with doing sports in high school, I looked way better, postpartum than I did in high school. Like I look way better. This is the best I've ever looked in my entire life. And I played water polo and I swam.
Wow. Okay. That's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
That's my favorite part of the sport is because you don't peak in high school. You don't peak in college. It's like you can find success in the sport like long after, into your 30s, 40s, 50s. Like it's very
Mm-hmm.
nice. You can start your fitness journey whenever you want. Okay. So I want to talk about when you were scared about being in the women's area only. There's a lot of girls were there. I was there. I remember I would go to the gym and I would just jump on the cardio machines and just like look over at the weights, like, oh, one day I'll go over there. It's like, oh, not today. And just kept showing up and kind of like watching people. Like, okay, I think I know how to use that machine. And then jumping on a machine, looking at the directions and doing it really quick. And then like, okay, I'm done, So what got you over that fear of just being in the little women's area?
So I signed up for a free like training session with my now coach, and he took me through a routine. And before I even saw him, I called him and I like was texting him, and I said, I'm too afraid to come out of this room. I'm like, I don't want people staring at me. He's like, no one's gonna be staring at you. They're too busy, caring about what they're doing and not what you're doing. And he was so humble and so nice, and he knows how to break through my shell because I'm a very introverted person, very to myself. So he got me to break out of that shell. And slowly but surely I started like going out here and there with certain exercises. So like if I wasn't comfortable doing that exercise, I would try to do it in the room. And then if I was comfortable, I would go and find a machine out there and do it. And then slowly I made it out there and now I feel confident, That's my home. That's my second home.
Yeah, it does take time. At first, it's a little nerve-wracking because you do feel like all eyes are on you. You're the new person. They're gonna see you or whoever they is. Like no one at the gym really care. I could not tell you what the person next to me is doing. I couldn't tell you what sets they're on. I couldn't tell you reps. I couldn't tell you what they're wearing because I'm not paying attention. Like everyone is just there to focus on them. But it isn't, a big gym setting that's intimidating. But I think it is helpful to start with someone like a personal trainer who works there to get you familiar with the gym because they know it like the back of their hand. And it's kind of like a buddy that you're like, okay, this is like my safety net. He knows what he's doing. I'm with him. I'm with him. He's going to take me around the gym. That's what I did the same thing. I was like, I need help. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I got a personal trainer that worked at the gym and said, show me everything. Let's do one of each of these. How does this work? And I think it's great to start with someone that can teach you form first instead of trying to try the form on yourself and not doing it right and going through all that. So that's awesome that you started that way. Okay, so now competing has always been in our mind. What drew you? Because you've always followed it. So like, what was it about competing? Was it just like, do you just like how they looked? What was it about bodybuilding?
So in the beginning, it was just about the looks. And then once I got into more of the fitness stuff and just seeing my body change, even just as simple as being at home and doing that, I wanted to see how far I could take it with the weights and see how far I can push my body to, I mean, I had 2 freaking kids and I look way better than I did. I'm just so proud of myself for getting that to that point. I'm like, let's just see how much more we can push myself,
Yeah.
So it looked at the being on stage part kind of freaked me out, just like, getting on there and doing your routine because, being on stage and whatnot, but everything else with the food and like before wasn't really following a food plan until I was with my coach, but I mean, I was still, eating. I was intuitive eating, I guess would be kind of what I was doing. I don't really know, but just seeing, having a disciplined, what's it called? Meal plan along
Yeah.
with the workouts and seeing what I can do and whatnot. So, I mean,
Started training. Okay, so you started training for your first show. How long was your first prep?
22 weeks.
Whew, okay, that was a long prep.
Yeah. He started me out. He didn't want to just throw me in and just like push my body to these extreme levels because he doesn't believe in doing that. So I appreciated that. So he just wanted to slowly take me down, which he did. And I very much enjoyed that prep. It was fun towards about the 4-week mark, being hungry and tired. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
a little brutal, but it was
Yeah.
fun. My first show is something I'll never forget. I loved it. It's good.
What was the competition that you competed at?
It was called NPC Greater Valley. It's a show in Alabama. It's a small show,
Yeah. Okay.
but very well ran.
Yeah.
It was fun.
So walk us through your first show weekend experience. What was it like from the beginning?
Everybody was super humble, and what was nice is that like my coach, he knew the people who were promoting the show, so it was a nice smooth show. So like walking in, you're taken care of right away. The tanning was interesting. I was a little
Yeah.
weird, being a little naked, in front of everybody and having to like, bend over and, it was a little strange.
That
But it
moment,
was
I remember my first show and was like, what is happening right now? I'm like, there's like 25 naked females. I'm like, there's no way we're going to just get naked in front of each other. I was like, that's not, they're going to be like little rooms or tents or something that you're going to be all secluded. Like, nope, drop it. They spray you like, and then they're like, all right, go over there in front of everyone.
yeah.
Fan. So, and you're just like, okay, this is normal. And it's weird. And there's 25 other women that are just naked, just like, hey, nice to meet you. Like, it is
So
weird.
so with this show, they didn't have like you were actually private. It was actually private because it was so small. So like you didn't have to see anybody else. You would literally tan you go and stand in front of a fan, and then by the time you were done, you were able to put your robe back on and walk out.
Yeah.
So because they were separated, but there was men and female in the same room. So
Yeah.
yeah, everybody.
Tanning experiences, the first tan is always like, it's so dark. And you've never been I've never been that color before. I've gotten spray tans, but that is an unnatural, like chocolatey Hershey syrup color. And yeah, it's the first tan is a very interesting experience. Okay, so what about like backstage, getting ready? Like, what was your mindset like right before you're about to step on stage?
So I was, in all honesty, kind of just in a blank because if I thought too much about it, I would talk myself out of it and I would get nervous because that's what I do. So I was just going through the motions of just, relaxing, listening to my coach, him telling me what to eat, what not to eat, put your feet up, relax, sleep, all the things. And then once it came time for us to like line up, my heart kind of fell into my butt. I was so nervous. I was so nervous. And so, I'm getting ready to walk out to do my routine, and I'm standing there and my heart's pounding so bad. And I go out there and I do my routine. I'm shaking. I am shaking. Everything is shaking. And I come off and I'm a little flustered because I was shaking so bad, because I thought you'd be able to see it. But everybody that was watching me said, we can't see you shake or anything. So then, because I went on 3 different times. So I did like the true novice, novice, and open. So by the 3rd time, I was a lot more comfortable,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That shakes, it's uncontrollable shakes. Like you can't,
hmm
your body it's like fight or flight. It is like,
hmm
oh, this is dangerous. We're about to do something very, very scary. We are not ready for it. And you just shake, and everyone shakes. I still shake. It's just like, it's like a nervous type of thing. Your body is just like, it needs to move because it has all that nervous energy like stored up. You're like,
hmm
heart's ready, and you're just like, oh, I'm prepared for this, and I've been thinking about this for so long, and now it's here. And then you get on stage, and it's like that adrenaline just releases, and you're like, oh my goodness, we made it. We made it on stage. After 22 weeks is a long time. Like that's almost
Yeah.
like it's 6 months ish, a little less than 6 months. Like that's a long prep for
Yeah.
so getting on it I mean, you get what, 10 minutes on stage. So
Yeah.
the last 6 months be like, I hope I worked hard enough, like kind of like flashes through your brain, and then you get to go on stage. Do you remember being on stage, or did you kind of like black out a little bit?
No, I remember quite well. Yeah. I was when they were doing like kind of, I mean, it was really small. So I mean, comparisons were really quick and really easy. It was, well, I liked comparisons because there was other people on the stage. So I was able to I kind of breathe a little bit. But yeah, I remember being up there and it was a surreal feeling. Like I actually did this. I actually got up here and I did this.
So
Very,
obviously you liked it after, because
yes.
you did another one,
Yeah, I did it. Yes. So I did another one, and the show itself, it was interesting. We'll just kind of leave it at that.
Okay.
It was
So
another small show, but never going back to that one.
I mean, you learn what shows you do and you don't like. How far apart was your first show to your second show?
So the first one was in July, the next one was in October.
Oh, in the same year?
Yeah. hmm
Did you take any type of off season, or did you just keep prepping?
Yeah, so he fed me, he kind of fed me a little bit before the next show. So yeah, he fed me and then he took it back down.
Okay. Okay. So we did kind of
hmm
like a little bit of a reverse. Um,
Yeah.
did you experience any type of like post show binges or anything crazy?
Mm, No, if I mean, no, I wouldn't say post show binge, more or less just, scared of, gaining a bunch of weight, if anything. Because I've seen myself at my heaviest. So in my mind, I still see myself at that heaviest weight. And I can't get it out of my head, but I'm always scared that I'm going to get back to that place. So that's what I was scared of, if anything. So like I had a lot of anxiety coming out of the show that I would somehow end up back in that place, even though I was, I'm following my diet.
Yeah. I think I mean, a lot of competitors, no matter how lean or even on show day, you still relate and think of yourself as the before pictures. You still
Yeah.
think of yourself, I'm this person, and it's every time you get lean, like your body does change. You have more muscle, and so it evolves, and you never will look like who you were before. But you kind of slowly do see the shreds start to fade, and that's a little bit scary too. So after our second show was October, this was 2022, last
Yeah.
year. Okay.
Yep.
Did we start an off season then?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the first true off season as a bodybuilder.
Yep. hmm
Okay. So what was feedback from your shows, and did you place? How did you do?
First show, I got first in all 3 of my classes. And then my second, I got last in both of my classes.
Yeah.
So it's literally both sides of the spectrum on that one. So the feedback so the second show, we'll just get this out of the way because I didn't get any feedback. I emailed the judges, and they looked at my messages and completely ignored me. So we'll just move on from that one. The first one, they said that my stage presence and my routine was very nice. They said I was very noticeable on stage, and I want to give a shout out to my posing coach, who was Whitney Weiser.
Oh, yes.
Whitney Weiser. And then I also had another posing coach, Maisie Brown. She goes to the gym that I go to. And so I pose with both of them. So I am so grateful because I'm a hot mess anyways. So to get that feedback for my stage presence was awesome. So that was good. And then as far as like body stuff goes, they told me that I just need to come in tighter, specifically around my glutes and my legs, which isn't really surprising to me. So, I mean,
I think they tell everyone that, to be honest.
right.
I'm like, what competitor has never gotten like come in leaner on the glutes? It's like maybe just like we can't. Like maybe we just can't. Be like, I tried. I really did. I promise I tried. Okay, so what have you guys changed for off season? Like did your training change? When are you planning to get back on stage? Are you planning on getting back on stage soon? What do you think?
So as far as getting back on stage, I would like to either wait till next year, or if I do a show, it wouldn't be until November of this year. Okay. So not until then. Have a nice, good off season. I'm enjoying not being in a major hustle, kind of enjoying things that way. And then as far as training goes, for the most part, I have the basic staples pretty much still set. He has changed some things. So basically his thing is like, we're trying to find out what works for my body, like exercises specifically. So he's like, if you feel it in this exercise, he's like, I'm going to give you exercises, but if you feel it in this, rather than the stuff that I give you, I want you to tell me, and then I'll put that into your plan. So, kind of playing around and seeing where I feel it the most. Because when it comes to like glute exercises, like the stuff that he, it's hard for me to find that glute, what is it called? The mind muscle connection with the glute. So I have to find like the right exercises to kind of dig deep in there. So right now, like I've been on the same one since October, the same training. Some things have kind of switched because I'll tell him like, hey, I don't feel in this at all, even if I sit here and try to think about it. But yeah, so training's been pretty much the same. Food, eating lots of food.
Yeah, that's good.
So,
okay, that is good. How has your relationship with food changed during prep, off season, and just learning about your body in general?
I'm definitely more strict than I used to be, because I know that, if I like fall off, or if I know, like I used to binge a lot. So I know like I need to like be careful, and I'm still new into this. So I do. Okay. So for example, like making my kids food. Okay. I would always like throw it in my mouth here and there. And so I'm trying to still kind of like take that out of it completely. Being in the off season, sometimes it does happen, not gonna lie. I mean, it happens, but it's not where I used to be, like where I would sit there and gouge everything down. So I'm still trying to train myself to get out of that.
And did you guys use macros or meal plan?
He gave me a meal plan. I can't do macros. There's absolutely no way. I have to do a meal plan. He has to tell me what to eat.
Okay. Sometimes that works for people, and sometimes it's just that's too much freedom. Just tell me what I need to do and I will eat that.
Yeah.
Okay. What about like goals long term in the sport? Like what are you hoping to get out of this?
Anything can happen in life, right? And I don't want to set goals too high. I honestly, the only goal really right now is just to see how far I can go. And, like if it's meant to be in my life, forever, then I guess it'll be forever. And if it's not, then it's not. Family is definitely a priority. So my family will always take priority over this. But this is one thing in my life that's actually mine.
Mhm.
So, outside of being a mother and a wife and all that stuff. So something that I'm hoping to hold on to for a while because I love it and it brings me a lot of joy. And, you know, after I had my babies, I did deal with postpartum depression. I got into a very, very dark, dark, dark spot during that time. And so this is my medication with not taking medication. This is my medicine. This is what, the 2 hours that I get, they have that daycare. I put my kids in the daycare. I know that they're safe and mama gets to work on herself for a little bit and breathe. And yeah, I'm just going to hold on to it as long as I can.
I think that's great. How old are your kids now?
They are 2 and 4.
Okay. Do they understand what you do?
They just know that mommy likes to get buff at the gym.
I like that. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly what it is. Likes to get buff at the gym. That's cute. Okay. So what about motivation stuff? Did you run into any hard days during your prep?
Oh yeah, all the time. When you're so exhausted and you're so hungry and you don't want to move and all you want to do is sleep.
Yeah.
Yes, it's definitely hard to get yourself up off the couch, but I've gotten so disciplined to going that it just, I just peel myself up and I truck right along, you know.
Yeah.
So motivation, I can tell you that motivation is even being in the off season, like it's very, very few, days where I'm like, oh, I'm so motivated to go. It's just a discipline. It's in my routine now, the where I just go. I don't really think about it, you know.
Yeah. What advice would you have for someone that is just wanting to get started on a fitness journey?
Just do it. Just like me, I just started walking. If it just, just get out and start walking, do some, if you're overeating, start, taking like, smaller meals throughout the day. I did do that. Um, it's just to jump in and do it because if you keep thinking about it, you keep sitting on it, then you're never going to do it. You just need to get up and do it, get over it, move on, push on.
Yeah, it's that easy. Just set your mind to it and just do it.
Hmm.
That's pretty much it. What about for someone that's wanting to start for like a competition prep? Is there anything that either you wish you would have known before competing or researched or done differently?
So I recommend, so if you're wanting to do competing is to really honestly do your research. YouTube, I watched so much YouTube prior to even doing this to fully understand what it takes to be in competition prep. So before I even started, I knew what I was getting myself into. I knew about the costs. I knew about, the lack of motivation, the lack of energy, the lack of sleep, having to drink so much water, going to pee 20,000 times a day. I mean, it's just, really do your research and really see if this is something that you want to do. Because, and the, even the time that it takes to do this too, because you're going to be in the gym all the time. Your life's going to revolve around it all the time. So making sure that your family's all on board and, that they support you, a good support system. I cannot tell you enough. If you try to do this without a support system, I don't know how you'll survive. I really don't. My husband, thankfully, I stay at home with my kids, but he is amazing. He is a truly God sent to me. And I don't think that if I didn't have someone like him in my life, there's no way I would have made it through that prep, you know? So,
Yeah. That's it's me when you have support on your goals, that's huge because prep
mhm.
takes a lot like even just alone, like the mental you have to give a lot of energy towards the cardio and the training. And it doesn't seem like, oh, it's gonna take that much time. It's only an hour, 2 hours. It's just the mental draining of it. It does affect other aspects of life. Even if
It
you try
does.
really hard, it just at a certain point when you're trying to get super, super lean, it affects energy levels. You don't have as much energy. You have to save the good energy for the gym sessions. Gym sessions get longer. Now we're not home. Like it's a lot.
Hmm. And then, chasing around children on top of not having energy. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. But
Yeah.
if you really want it, you make it work.
How are you able to balance? Like, what did your schedule and routine look like?
So, I would, so it kind of depends on it it's kind of dependent on the day, but usually I would go do my workouts in the mornings and then have the rest of the day. So like by the time we get home, my kids will typically take a nap. So then I can take a nap and then wake up and have somewhat energy to keep continuing on through the day, or like go later in the day and like try to take a nap with them like midday. So it kind of was like all over the place. I just did what I had to do to make it work, and it all depended really on my kids' attitude. So depending on if they were, grumpy, like if they could make it in the morning or if I had to wait till the afternoon, it kind of just depended on that. So
yeah, I mean, make it work, find the time. If it's important to
yep,
you, we'll find the time. Okay, so we've done
exactly.
2 competitions, and you said you got posing help, and you were
hmm
working with a posing coach. How was your first time learning posing, though? Was it hard for you to learn it?
I would say, if anything, the hardest part for me is the walk. I just like the basic walking, that was the hardest part. But what I did was, even before I started competing, I watched YouTube videos and I would practice. So when I went in to start practicing with someone, I kind of already knew like basics. They just, had to, obviously tweak it and whatnot, but it wasn't as it's difficult, but it wasn't like, I did my research beforehand, so it wasn't like complete shock to me, like going in there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because if you don't really, if you're not someone that catches on very quickly, it's kind of hard. Like
mhm,
you need to visually see the goal of like, okay, here's what we're
mhm,
trying to look like, and then
yeah,
you try to do it on yourself. So that's good that you were able to find a posing coach at the beginning too, because
yeah,
that's the only time you're on stage. It's like 10 minutes, and the
mhm,
posing really does make an impact on your physique. So you were an athlete growing up?
yes.
Okay. But what was the training like for those type of sports?
Well, I mean, it was waters, I was in water sports, so swimming, swimming laps and stuff like that. Water polo, we called it dry land. Some dry land stuff, and it was basically working with bands and um like some weights and whatnot, but mostly everything you're put in a pool. So like our hell week for water polo, like you would have to wear shorts, tennis shoes, and you'd have to tread water in everything and hold jugs above your head and tread water from one side of the pool to the other. When I say hell week, I mean it was hell week. I do not miss those days.
So you had a solid, like you had some muscle mass as a base.
A little bit. I mean, I kind of fell off of it, after high school. I didn't go to the gym, didn't really work out, so I kind of
Yeah.
lost. I was more of like in high school, I was more of I was slim, still had like I always had like beefier legs. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I know the what's it called? I can't even think of the word right now. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Yeah. So I was just wondering because I'm like, sport, like swimming, that's a lot of shoulder motions, like for
hmm
water. And it's a lot of, I mean, if you're treading water, that's a lot of core. I mean,
hmm
I don't know if that translated and made it easier now to build your upper body or not.
I would, maybe kind of. I feel like my upper body. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm still trying to develop my lower body, so I guess my upper body looks better than my lower body.
I don't know. I'm
I
just,
mean,
I'm curious everyone's background of like where their
yeah,
starting point was before of
yeah.
like how far do you need to go with where you started. So I feel like you're definitely on your way, and we'll see you prepping potentially this year and then for sure in 2024.
hmm For sure.
Okay. So for 2024, we're going to be doing, do you have an idea? Like just want to do one and see what happens and take it from there?
Yeah, I want to do one show and then see how I do there, and then go from there. I do want to get on a national stage. That would be nice. I want to see that. My The one show that I really want to do is a national fit show out here. Um, so that's one goal show that I would really like to do, because it's all women, and obviously I know the lady who runs it, and I heard that she puts on an amazing show. So that's
I've
just
heard good thing. I want to do that show just because it's like I've heard swag bags are amazing. Whitney's amazing. Like the stage is like purpley blue. They have like that purple rose wall of like pictures
Mm-hmm.
after. I'm like, this sounds like a good time. I want to, and it's only females. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
all, and that's awesome because you don't have to like see like, guys running around anyway. It's like no one's here to watch you guys. Like we just want to see
Yeah.
all the bikini girls and have them go on stage. So definitely I would plan on doing that show. It's a show that it's on I have like little shows like bucket list shows like, oh, that would be a good one. So that's definitely one to check out.
Mm-hmm.
Are you planning on like staying in the sport or attending shows or um during the off season? Like what are you planning to do?
So I'll probably go and support our team. So I'll probably go to a couple shows and support them and
Yeah.
whatnot. But like I said, like the only show that if I do a show, it's gonna be in November. So
Okay.
yeah.
Gotta stay ready for it. It's okay. November will come. Like it's gonna go fast. Like
I know.
it may seem like, oh, I have all this time, but it's gonna go by fast. So take advantage of the calories.
I am.
Yeah. I mean, enjoy them and lift heavy while you can, because prep will be here before you know it, and when you start cutting that, it doesn't take much before your strength is like,
I know. I'm enjoying lifting those heavy weights. It's fun. It's fun, hitting some, PRs here and there and
yeah,
it's amazing. So crazy what your body can do.
it is.
Amazing.
What is your favorite part of the sports?
Honestly, the working out part. I love working out. That's trying to hit like those, PRs and, you know, like shoulder presses. I remember not being able to even lift like 25 dumbbells over my head, like before I even started this. And now, getting up like over into the, 30s and whatnot, like that's crazy to me. So
Yeah.
I love the working out part. That's my favorite part.
Okay. Any final pieces of advice that you'd like to leave us with?
Um, you know, I can't speak for everybody, and especially not every single mother. But if you are a mother that is struggling, postpartum, fitness is definitely something to not take for granted and to try, prior to doing other things. But I mean, fitness in general, just your mental health, it helps with your mental health so, 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 so much. And so I just encourage anybody that's struggling, even not moms, but anybody that's struggling mentally to, give fitness a try because it changed my life and it saved my life.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I'm happy that you found it. That's exciting. Cool.
yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing your story. I have one last question. Are you team cupcake or are you team protein shake?
Oh, cupcakes.
Okay. And then if you could be a cupcake or if you could create your like dream cupcake, what would that be?
Everything Oreo.
Oh, okay.
Hmm.
Okay. I like it. All right. Well, if anyone wants to follow up with you after the episode, where can they do so and follow you online?
Instagram, it's the Mrs. Vega _.
Okay. Perfect. Well, I'll get your episode up. It'll probably not be until March.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'll get it up for you.